Hello everyone, welcome to the Candidates Forum. We're very excited to have everyone here. Yesterday, most of us got our ballots, the mail-ins, so the timing is perfect. We have the opportunity today to hear these 6 fabulous candidates. I'm sad that 3 of you will not be serving us, but those of you that will, please remember we seniors love you. So look at the crowd. These are your people and your votes. So please, without further ado, I'd like to thank Teri Scott for helping us.
Yay, Teri.
Talk about double duty. She's our videographer and our moderator. So without further ado, here she goes.
Thank you all so much. Welcome everyone. I'm Teri. For those who don't know me, I'm usually behind the camera. But today, I'm doing both duties, so forgive me if I trip a little bit. I'm honored to be the moderator today for the Meet the Candidates for the City Council. The Ask Club is very pleased for the opportunity with the candidates, and thank you, candidates. We appreciate you participating in this forum. There's 3 council seats available. That means when you get your ballot, you can vote for any 3 of these candidates here on the table. So listen very closely to what they have to say, because you have 3 votes. And they are in alphabetical order: Michael Bracken, Frank Kaplan, Charles Collins, Matt Free, Nick Lopez-Jenkins, Nancy Stoner. Each candidate has been asked to prepare a short, up to 4-minute bio. And I'll read what it says. They've been asked to have an overview of their qualifications and their positions on the issues facing the key. So at the 3-minute mark, we have a timer. Chris Figures should tell you how 3 minutes, knowing that you have 1 minute left to wrap up. So, in reverse order, Nancy Stoner, you will go first. Do you mind standing so we can all see you?
Thank you. Again, it's Nancy Stoner, and I'm very honored to be here today. And I thank you for hosting all of us and taking the time to listen to us. And hopefully, after we're done with this discussion, we can mingle with you and answer some of your questions. I'd like to start by telling you that this is a really fantastic set of candidates, and I'm very honored. You're going to hear this word honored from all of us, I think, during the rest of the campaign. Everyone up here is dedicated to the key. Everyone up here is dedicated to the key. We all get along very, very well. It's been a very congenial campaign, and I think that's just commendable, and I thank all of my fellow candidates for that. So two fun facts about me that most people don't know. My grandma name is Fancy, so all of my 6 grandchildren, their friends call me Fancy. And I never intended on becoming a lawyer. I was a fine arts major, undergrad, with a dance degree. So I danced my way through college. I went to Europe for a year. I went to New York for less than a year, where I suddenly decided that I was not going to be able to support myself dancing, and I better do something a lot easier, which was to go to law school. I've practiced now for a little over 40 years, all in Miami-Dade. My practice has been in real estate. The last 15 years I've been with a boutique firm that does all construction litigation. So I have worked on a variety of construction matters, including the contract for the Frost Science Museum. I worked on the Miami-Dade garage collapse case. I've worked on the Brickell City Center defect case, which is ongoing now and probably will go on for an eternity. And I've worked on cases involving undergrounding of utilities and stormwater drainage. So I bring that as a particular set of skills and information to my service. My hobbies: I am an avid boater. I love all things having to do with the water. In fact, one of my sons is a boat builder, of whom I'm very proud. So fishing, I don't dive, but I drive the boat for everybody else. I love to exercise. I love to read. I needlepoint. And I'm in a wonderful book group here on the Key. As far as my involvement in the Key is concerned. I was appointed 13 years ago to serve as a special magistrate, and I really enjoyed that service. I've met a lot of people. It's a very interesting experience because people are cited for various violations, and they come before the Board of Special Magistrates, and the idea isn't to penalize anybody, it's to bring everybody into compliance. And that's a particular reflection on our village, because we're not out to make money off people or penalize people. We just want everyone to follow the rules and get along, and I think that's fantastic. I've also been on the board of the Key Biscayne Beach Club, which is has a special place in my heart. To me, the Beach Club is the last bastion of the old Key Biscayne. It looks like the old Key Biscayne, and everybody there behaves like the old Key Biscayne. You go to the beach and you sit with whoever you see, whether it's someone that you organize to plan to meet there or just someone that you know from the neighborhood. I was chair of the 70th anniversary celebration, which I'm sure many of you went to. I've done many other things. I've participated in the Lighthouse Run, I've volunteered, and I'm sure that as I mentioned some of these things, many of you are thinking, I did that, I participated. I participated in building this village and making us the community that we are. And while I see Chris, and I see Ed, and I see, who else is out here, Ann and Ceci, all made special contributions. I know you all have special memories, and I'd love to talk to you afterwards about things that you did to get us to this point. I did work on the incorporation effort. I did support all of the benefits we have now, the community center, the village. I'm at 4 minutes already? 4 minutes? I just got started, and I'm the one who said we couldn't go.
Nancy was the one who wanted less time, not more.
Yeah.
I did. Okay, well, I yield, and that's my bio, and you can ask me questions afterwards. Thank you so much. Wow.
Hello all, my name is Nick Lopez-Jenkins. You may recognize me because I was here 2 years ago, the very same. Or you could recognize me from all the annoying text messages I've been sending you with a picture of myself and my family. Could be one of the two. But either way, I want to thank you guys for having us here, having all of us here. To reiterate where Nancy came from, we have a spectacular group of people, and like I said, there are no bad choices up here. But hopefully through this presentation, through other presentations in the future on the village, you guys will get a chance to know us and see where we're coming from. 2 years ago, I fell a little bit short. It was disappointing initially. I had a choice to make, and I spoke with my wife, and at the time she encouraged me, said, hey, if you think this is something you really want, you need to become more engaged in the village and really double down on your efforts to get to know more people, to become more involved, maybe in a more official capacity. So at that point, I approached the mayor. I asked him if there's any opportunities here within the village or somewhere with issues that deal with the village that I could get involved with. He recommended me to Raquel Regalado to fill his space on the Virginia Key Advisory Board, which is obviously a huge issue as far as the causeway and specifically Bearcut Bridge is concerned. So I've been on that board for 2 years. I'm now the vice chair of that board. And I've learned a lot how to deal with the other existing entities that we have to deal with here in the Key, the county, the city of Miami, the state, obviously, as well. In addition to that, I've become involved in some civic organizations. I'm the co-president of the 4th of July Parade, which I'm very proud of, which is something historically that we've been able to keep here in Key Biscayne. And I think it makes us incredibly unique as far as it tying into the history of where we come from. I also have a small pet project that hasn't come to fruition yet. By sheer coincidence, one of my best friends from high school is now the head of the Miami Zoo Association. And we have been talking about doing a pop-up to honor the old Crandon Zoo here. So, and doing something in the village. Obviously, we can't do it at the old footprint because there's no air conditioning for the animals, but it'll be something here. I've spoken to the mayor about it. I've spoken to Steve Williamson about it. And it's something we kind of wait for the summer to end and now put it more in full focus. Where I'm at now 2 years later, like I said, I have all of that engagement I've done. I'm married, happily married. I'm father of a 4- and a 6-year-old. As you can see, I started a little late in life with my kids, but it's been an incredibly enjoyable experience. It kind of brings those kind of issues about the future of Key Biscayne to a little bit to reality to me, as far as like I said, about keeping the kind of culture that we've established here and keep it going. Obviously, the big issues that are coming here, the resiliency is incredibly important. I'm very proud of how the council stood up and finally banned the e-bikes here, because it really did just change the whole texture of how it was going. It was incredibly, like I said, it was almost stressful to go out in public at some points in time because it had gotten so bad. So it's nice to see that a resolution to that has happened. I'm excited about, I'm saddened and excited about what's happening with the Silver Sands. It's sad to see it go, but I think what's coming in there is going to be pretty spectacular. It's going to help our tax base. As we all know, it's incredibly expensive to live here. And it's something that I deal with as someone who works full-time. My wife works full-time. We have 2 small children, so it's something that's a really reality to us. So in closing, I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to listen to me and being here. I appreciate that. You'll be seeing me around the Keep. Please approach me with any questions you might have. I want to really communicate with you guys. I think I can work in a collaborative way with whoever gets elected and whoever's on council now to be a positive influence to try to keep the culture the way it is here and keep Biscayne, preserve things for the future. So thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for attending. This is a wonderful group of candidates we have here. Each one is qualified to serve on the council. What I want to let you know, what differentiates me from the others. One, when I was at the...
They don't know who you are. You need to say your name.
Mark Freed, 525 Warren Lane. At a podcast, I was asked what brought me to the Key, and I said, well, what brought me to the Key, I was born here, and if my parents moved to 560 Allendale in June of 1951, I was conceived on the Key. And I said, the more important question is, what kept me on the Key? I had 90 people in my grade school at Key Biscayne Elementary, and of those 90 people, Steve Tellum and I are the only 2 residents on Key Biscayne. So what kept me here was my love of the geographic location, the love of Biscayne Bay, the beach, and the love of the people, the community. What I've done, when I have gotten involved in organizations, I look forward in its policy setting. The purpose of the council is to set policy for the manager, what the village is going to do. And in certain organizations, when I have seen that the leadership may not have been going in the direction that I perceive is in the best interest of the members or financially, I have talked to confidants. I brought up that there may be an alternative to the direction we're going. We've developed those alternatives in the past. With others, we have campaigned, and in each case, our position was supported by the vote of the members. An extreme example was the Key Biscayne Beach Club. I was asked to join the board. When I got on the board, I saw that it was going bankrupt, and I led a campaign to try to remove every director. It cost me personally. I faced a lot of risk because I was more concerned about the institution, the organization, and the members than my own anything that would happen to me or my well-being on Key Biscayne. And I'd talk to the manager and I'd say, Mike, I'm not in here with an I Like Mike hat on. I'm here as a director. And my mother was Mike O'Brien's Cub Scout den mother. That's in the 50s, so I went way far back with Mike. So with the council, I see what our obligations are. It comes down to policy, ordinances, to follow that policy, and setting a budget. I look forward to working with other council members to do what's in the best interest of the members and the community. I am a fiscal conservative. I'm going to look at the budget line by line. And thank you very much. 1 minute?
1 minute. Yeah. 1 minute.
Give that to me.
I've been on the Key. I joined the Key Biscayne 4th of July committee when Dr. Hanworth was the president. We met at the Key Biscayne Hotel. We all, after 1 year, you got a red coat, a red blazer. So I was on the committee from 78 to probably 2018. I served as president for 3-4 years. president of the Key Biscayne Beach Club in 1999. I was on the board of the Key Biscayne Yacht Club, and I also had a campaign at the yacht club to turn something around, and I read that right where the majority of the members changed a direction that the then leadership was taking the yacht club. I was a village magistrate for a few years, and at times I felt like a hypocrite when I saw what people were up there for. And I told Gail, the next time we get something, we have to get a permit. And there's the buzz. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. I was going to say I was the first here because I came in February of '52, but apparently he was already here. I lost it. Anyway, thank you all for coming.
What
Thanks.
is your name?
I'm getting there. I want to thank you all for coming and for your support, and this is what makes the community great, the involvement. My name is Charles Collins. I'm running for council with my co-counsel, my wife, Adriana Spitali. We live in the Towers. Today I'd like to discuss three important qualities in serving: character, values, and personal history. My personal history goes back to 1900s when my grandfather Charles Collins came to South Florida and started a dairy farm. That eventually became evolved into MacArthur Dairies. My other grandfather was J.R. Hyde, and he came after World War I and wound up working as an editor in the Miami News, which was in the News Tower, and now you know is the Freedom Tower. My grandmother taught high school at Miami's first high school, Miami High. And after her retirement in her 80s, there were still students coming by to share and reminisce. So these were my first contacts with media, writing, and public service. My parents and grandparents, as I mentioned, had been coming here before there was a bridge, and I didn't arrive until '52. But I came and went for the last 72 years, and I've been back this time for about 9 years. My professional career started in college. I just screwed up my script. But anyway, so my professional career started in college where I worked on, I used my engineering background and would set up Gator Brow. And I remember our first band was either the Beatles, the Beach Boys, or the Eagles, but I can't remember which. Then in my 20s, I took a job as a roadie, which is a technical engineer that does that sets up and runs the show. And my title was Master Electrician. And I love that gig. It's working with A-list celebrities, and the creativity and the budgets was great. And at the end of the '82 season, I came home and took a job with Dade County Parks Department, thinking for 6 months till I went back out on tour. I'm up? My time's up already? Jeez. Okay. But 35 years later, I woke up and I was getting my metaphorical gold watch. So it was a great career. But I lay this out to highlight that I have the time, the talent, and the training to serve the village, especially now in the technical fields. Hang on. I hate doing public speaking, but that's another story. I have a long Florida history. I know the perils and uncertainties of hurricanes. I was a member of the county disaster response team, so I know what does and doesn't work in disasters. I know infrastructure, having built and maintained much of what is now Dade County Parks, and I know the political landscape, having served 35 years in Miami-Dade County. I also know the political ethics, as I'm the only candidate that has qualified at the highest level to fill out a Form 6 for the state of Florida ethics disclosure, financial disclosure. So again, I want to reiterate what he said. Everybody up here is qualified. You're not picking one of us. You're trying to pick a team and pick each of us for what you think our strengths are. Again, we're not electing a quarterback. We did that already. So thanks for your time.
The last time we did this, we were Zooming. We were wearing masks. It feels awfully good to be here together. I wasn't born here. I came here of my own volition. Mark Freed and I share a birthday. It's hard to serve on council. One of the things that proves the point is holding me to 4 minutes is going to be a challenge. Luis? Oh, thank you. Thank you. See, this is what colleagues do. So, I haven't done this since karaoke night. I'm going to improv for just a minute, and then I want to get to something that I thought was important enough to actually write some words down. Mayor Davies heard me talk about this for years, and I hope you won't roll your eyes when I get into the qualifications that deal with more than the 7 human beings that serve on the dais, but the fact that they serve on the dais together, and the extent to which those 7 people can harmonize and work together inures to the greater success of the council as a body. I'd like to get to that because there'll be 2 new people, maybe 3. And the point about effective, successful collaboration on the dais is absolutely critical to everything we care about. And it's not automatic. It comes from effort. The improv part first. Let's see. I got recruited by one of those big law firms in 1985. I came to Miami not knowing much, but remembering that in the 60s I visited Key Biscayne, Brandon Park, probably met Mark on occasion. I came to Key Biscayne to check it out after not having been in South Florida really to any degree for years. I wanted to look at real estate on the Key. I wound up going to the Donut Gallery for breakfast.
They can't hear you, Frank. They can't hear
I'm
you.
sorry.
Can you hold it close?
I'm sorry that you missed it because it was fascinating. I'll try to continue my spellbinding delivery now with the mic closer. I went to the Donut Gallery and found basically the entire community in a friendly, loving, neighborly embrace, and I didn't need to see real estate because I saw what I needed to see, which was the community, the people. I made a decision to come here, I planted my flag, and I never left. I got recruited about a year or so before incorporation to do work on incorporation. My subject matter expertise became master plan and zoning. I just never stopped. I'm not going to get to the point that I really wanted to get to unless I go right now. Temperament, background, character, the ability and willingness to do the hard work, the willingness to be accessible when you're tired or stressed with other things in life, are all minimum mandatory. Then there's knowledge and experience and the ability to draw on our culture and our history so that you can better know what we need to protect and what we need to improve. And then there's the last part, which is high-level advanced psychology, which is working together and working empathetically to help others succeed and realize their best potential. That takes effort that's not part of the job description, but is embedded in the quality of the job if you want to do it excellently. I think for the first time ever, I'll stop.
Yep.
Good afternoon. Can you guys hear me? I'm Mike Bracken. Thank you very much for having me here. As everybody pointed out, there's a great group of people. I've actually worked with Nancy, Mark, and Chris at the Beach Club together to help resurrect the Beach Club from its financial. Basically, it's back. Thanks. Anyway, I live at 224 West Mashta. Been on the Key for 30 years. I recently retired, so I've got some time on my hands. Got 30 years of construction experience with a multinational construction company. Also have 15 years oil rig experience as well, so most people don't realize. So I've spent a lot of time in some pretty high dollar cost environments, especially in on a big level of construction projects. So my goal here today really is to stress that I'm really running on one issue, which is getting the power on the ground. I'm passionate about getting this done. I really think it's necessary. We've been just struggling with this for years. I know that was on the underground committee with Brett Moss. We went through this 3 times. It's been I think it's actually, Mike, how long has it been? 9 years? 9 years since we discussed it the last time. I was very concerned when I heard that the project was going to get stalled. I didn't want to see the infrastructure project get stalled. I don't want to see the undergrounding project get stalled. So I'm very concerned that this is going to get stalled. That's why I wanted to get involved. So I bring my construction background to help that process. and hopefully you'll vote for me. I'm looking for your vote. Thank you very much. That's really all I have to say. Thanks.
The Ask Club has prepared one question all the candidates received a couple of days ago. The same thing, they have up to 4 minutes to answer, and they'll get a 1-minute warning. The question is, how do you plan to address the challenges faced by many seniors on the Key who are struggling with rising taxes, the increasing cost of living, and particularly the condo assessments, which may force some of us to have to leave Key Biscayne? Nancy Stoner, give me 1 minute and you will be first.
I was blown away when I read that question, because that question really goes to control over which the Village of Key Biscayne has none. So let me explain to you a little bit about how we got into this situation. Florida law previously allowed, I'm going to try and do this quickly, for condo associations to waive reserves. You didn't have to have reserves if the association allowed you, if the association agreed to waive. So of course many associations agreed to waive reserves. The county was not enforcing what they are now enforcing, which is the 40-year to 50-year recertification of the physical structure of the buildings. And then we had the collapse of the Champlain Towers. So now everything is hurry up and fix it. The legislature of the state of Florida passed a law that said reserves are now not only not waivable, but there must be an assessment of the physical condition of the condominiums within certain time periods, and the associations have to bring the condition of the building up to snuff so that everyone is safe. So it's from a life safety perspective, and it's all understandable. The problem is the associations didn't have reserves, and now they're going to all the association members to come up with the cash. So the Village of Key Biscayne has absolutely no control over that. What we do have control over is the taxes that we pull in from you all, our residents. The amount of taxes that we pull in from each one of you is less than 20% of your entire bill. So I pulled up 2 bills from 2 people who are in the audience here who have no idea who they are, and I'm not telling you. One is a home, and one is a condo. So in 2023, this home had a tax bill of $6,700, and $1,100 of that went to the Key. $1,100. That pays for the fire, the police, this building, the programs, the bus, the beach, the freebie is from the foundation. But everything that we love and enjoy is coming from that $1,000.
Is it homesteaded to years?
Yes, it's homestead, yes. So if you have a problem with your taxes going up, our millage just went down, as I'm sure you all know. What's going up is what the school board is charging you and what Dade County is charging you. So that's where the complaints should really be lodged. The condo, just so you know what the comparison was, the condo has a $5,600 a bill and almost $1,100. So it's about 20%. It's actually a little bit less than that. So what I can say I would do for you and this community if I were on council, which hopefully I will be, is I will participate with our council and get our lobbyists prioritizing this issue in Tallahassee. I know Mayor Cava is lobbying and has approached the state to come up with means to lessen the burden, because this isn't just for seniors. This is an issue that faces all condo owners. So we have Raquel Regalado, if she's been very good to the Key. If she's re-elected, she will work with us to the extent she can. There's a program, and I don't know much about it, and it's not guaranteed every year. Is that my one minute?
That's it.
Okay. There's a program, My Safe Florida. You might want to ask your association managers about getting grants for your association for the repairs that you need to do. Thank you so much.
Nick Lopez-Jenkins.
I have a personal idea. It's something that I'm a recovering insurance agent. I don't do insurance anymore. I got tired of giving people bad news. I moved on to a very interesting company with some people out of Canada. We clean buildings with drones, but that's a different story. But that being said, and this will be a quick anecdote just to show you where my head is at on this, addressing the insurance pricing here. And last year we took a client of ours to London, to Lloyd's of London directly. And this is a big property owner. And his portfolio had properties not only in South Florida but in other areas. And this became very attractive to Lloyd's because basically the way insurance works is that you're spreading risk over certain areas. So a $100 million portfolio, if 40 million is in South Florida, 40 million is in Orlando, and 20 million is in Utah, chances of a catastrophic event wiping out the entire portfolio is almost zero. So by spreading that, their insurance prices went down. We went straight to them, and it was amazing how much money we saved him. And he's super happy, and he better vote for me. But that being said, at that point, when I was having a conversation with my cousin, who's more professional on the commercial insurance side, I said, well, I mean, why can't we do a pool of associations? Well, he's like, well, look, I mean, you don't want to do a pool of Key Biscayne because they all have the same exact risk. So you're just going to end up pooling a bigger pool, which is probably end up driving your premiums even higher because people would only want to pick and choose. So his idea, which, like I said, we haven't looked into, but we're kind of trying to flesh out, it was an idea that I wanted to present to council at some point in time, or have the village look into itself, is to possibly create a pool with other communities that have different risks than we have. Maybe a community somewhere in Tornado Alley, and maybe a community somewhere in Utah that has, or maybe somewhere in California. Because now what you would be doing, everybody would have the high-risk insurance, but you'd be spreading it out, so now you're not dealing with specifically, if a hurricane comes and everything's wiped out. It's an interesting concept. You'd have to create an insurable interest. I know I'm sure I'm boring you guys at this point, but you'd have to create an insurable interest between the parties, maybe create an association that you have to pay into. But it'd be a way to pool different communities into a pool and possibly create a good amount of savings on the insurance side. So that's kind of the only idea. Obviously, we're all suffering. Key Biscayne is an incredibly desirable place to live, and the supply and demand is just driving up the housing prices. I mean, I'm thankful that my parents convinced me to buy 25 years ago because I wouldn't be able to buy right now. So that being said, it's the things along the edges, like Nancy was mentioning before, or things that are like outside the box ideas on the insurance. Obviously, some of the resiliency projects we're doing hopefully will drive those prices down as well. But I think we have to be creative, and we have to engage people that have good ideas, even if there's something that haven't been done yet. We can be that community that's on the forefront, that can approach things in different ways. And like I said, hopefully that, like I said, at least incrementally could help. Like I said, my wife works, I work, I've got 2 small kids. Like I said, the stress that living here causes. I mean, for us, we decided that this is where we want to be. We wouldn't want to raise our children anywhere else. My parents are here as well. This is, like I said, this community is like family from that standpoint. So it's kind of one of the reasons I want to serve, is to be able to help, and maybe I'll help mitigate some of the issues that people are dealing with. So that's all I have to say.
Mark, 3.
I did do my homework, and I could go through everything I studied and learned, but Nancy covered it very, very well. We don't control inflation. The village doesn't control the condominium assessments and maintenance. We control our village budget. I'm looking forward. That's what you'll see on my signs, looking forward, with the light out front. What are the hazards? What are the risks? One thing I did, I'm running not to be popular, I'm running to be effective. I want to be effective for you on the village council. I'm the only person in the village of Key Biscayne who wrote a letter in February of 2023 of what is going to be the impetus for the village council to work and to make a hard decision. And my letter was unfortunately prophetic, because when Megan was died, the village council worked and made a change the next day. I'm going to continue to look forward. Of the taxes that we do control, 19% of the tax bill is Village of Key Biscayne. Of our $41 million budget, probably 39, 38 million is spoken for. We've got salaries, we've got maintenance, we've got a lot of projects. Then there are the pet projects and the future projects of what they call the infrastructure, the undergrounding. The pumps that they're talking about being 15, 18 feet above ground in the village parks. Those are things I'm going to look at. I know how to listen, I know how to process, I know how to assess. Having that ability is one thing that allowed me to have a practice that I started in April of 1980, and my son is now managing our immigration practice. I still have 5 or 6 clients who did not let me retire. That's been a really good benefit for me because it keeps my brain active in the law. But so coming to the close, I don't know how much time I have left, but in being efficient, I'm here to serve and be effective, and I will look out for what's in the best interest of the community. Tomorrow I have another granddaughter in Key Biscayne. Sophia will be born tomorrow. So it's the second of the 4th generation in Key Biscayne who's living on the island. I want to do for you what I want to do for her.
Charles Collins. All right, I got to admit, I was so confused by this whole issue that I signed up to become a licensed CAM of the Department of Business and Professional Regulation. Now, I'm not there yet, and I'm not going to be a CAM. I just want to know, what are the responsibilities of the association in relation to this post-Champlain environment. So what we found out is that a lot of associations have been using, let's see how to explain this simply. Associations have been using creative accounting to keep the quarterly fees low. This in turn makes the units more value attractive to buyers and in the short run better for the owners. They then backstop any big project with big assessments. So what we're looking at with the state, and what we looked at with Champlain, well, that big assessment came due for the Spalding, and they didn't have the money, and the rest is history. So the big picture is the state is actually helping us out, especially us old people, that they've now mandated you can't use doctored engineering reports and creative accounting and all these tricks to artificially lower your assessment fees. That in the long run, the fees may go up slightly, but for people on fixed income like myself, it's the big assessments that come along unannounced that hurt the most. So while there's nothing we can do about the condo associations, or the condo regulations, other than we could get waivers from the state for a longer, the deadline on the 2025 deadlines. And as she mentioned, there is a plan at the county which will help people get funding. But I think the biggest thing that could impact owners in the next 4 years, the next term, is going to be the big dig. That's not showing up on your millage rate, but if that goes through, that could be $1 billion project divided by 7,000 taxpayers. That's going to have a huge impact on your taxes. And I think anybody that says this is a done deal and we need to move forward is mistaken. Personally, I dig ditches. I mean, I was a master electrician. I'm 100% for going forward on the undergrounding, but the process my daughter just went through the Asheville, through the hurricane in Asheville. And that stormwater system was absolutely worthless. In fact, it's probably a liability now. It's under tons of debris and water, standing water and mud. And our system has not designed to address hurricanes or disasters. We have a plan for hurricanes and disasters, and it's about shoreline protection and raising the houses and a whole list of things. $1 billion to address ponding rainwater, I think we need to review that. And that's where I'm going to stand on the policy. But like I said, at the end of the day, I am a pensioner, a government pensioner, living in a condo association, so I'm very mindful of those issues. Thank you.
A couple of perspectives. First, I've been in service in the village council for 12 years, 4 as mayor. In that time, I've I think I've served with 9 different permutations of council members, as mayor or as a council member. Maybe that's 35 different people, maybe it's 40 different people, something like that. I can't think of a single person that I've served with that is not a fiscal conservative. It doesn't exist in this realm, in this world. Our budgeting methodology is to be spared and to do more with less, always. Now, people can prioritize things differently and have disagreements about which projects are worthy of proceeding now or later or at all. Those are the debates that occur all the time. But nobody is spending money recklessly. It doesn't exist. Year after year after year, we go through the same exercise of going through every line item in the very long budget and looking for things that seem amiss. And, you know, there's a lot of scrutiny that goes into this. And every now and again, we find something that gets cut or gets reduced or gets moderated, or we make a different decision on how to allocate resources so that we are wiser and more efficient and still getting things done. But we also know, top of mind, we have to balance frugality with realism, and that the services that we desire, if not demand, require a cost. You know, you have to pay for things. Turning to the specific questions, condo, insurance, cost of living. It's not my business, and we're not in the business of price controls, but gas on the key is $4.79, and off the key it's $3.05, depending on where you go. I think that's a bit of a problem. I like the way Winn-Dixie is being very price sensitive. I think that they're doing a good job in trying to be, you know, in business, but fair in pricing. The Southeast Grocers gambit that emerged is an opportunity to save on basic commodities. And I think that's worth noting. It's a good thing. The condo problem, Nancy described it accurately. I serve on the Regional Planning Council that represents Monroe, Miami-Dade, and Broward. And as a delegate from that council, I serve with the state on the council umbrella organization. Everybody's worried about this, but the answer isn't going to be a glitch bill, although there's going to be effort to fix this condo assessment requirement. Because the problem is the building stock is old, a lot of people live in condos, and we're in a saltwater environment. So the idea that you can simply dispense with this scrutiny is unrecognizable. It doesn't, that's not prudent. Insurance, the reinsurance markets are freaked out about coastal communities generally, and price competition among insurers in Florida is terrible. Too much has fallen on citizens. There are several bills in the Congress and in the State House to try to fix certain elements of the insurance problem, which is skyrocketed, as I'm sure we all know. One of them that I think that I'm using in my law practice now, and I see lenders doing this, is to eliminate the requirement of having contents insurance. So you have property and casualty. If you eliminate the requirement automatically of having contents, you don't have to pay for that premium. I think my time is up.
Hi, good afternoon. Actually, Nancy did an incredible job of educating the community on exactly what the issue was. Thank you, Nancy, because I was going to go through a similar. I think one of the things that the village we can do is we can start supporting the senior community, and I think we do. The community is currently getting about $200,000 a year through the network. Maybe we could look at doing something a little bit more. You know, right now there's the freebie. Okay, there's lots of different. The Ask Group gets I think $40,000 a year. So, you know, there's different ways we can support the community. We can't fix your assessment issue. I think all these ideas are fantastic, but that's not the power of our group. We can look at the 18% tax burden. We can do the right thing, as Frank pointed out. We can sit down, do the line item by line item budget. The thing that I'm focused on, which I believe will help us, is the undergrounding process will help our insurability, which will lower our cost structure. So again, I'm looking for your vote. I want to put the power underground, and I really believe that this is a major issue. So thank you very much.
We want to thank you all. It's going to be really hard for all of us to choose three of these fabulous candidates. So thank you a million for being here. And the party's over. Well, just begun. Just begun. Please, if there's, you all will mix the best you can, answer questions on your own, and just remember to vote. It's very, very important. It's vitally important. A lot of issues. So thank you all.